All right. So it looks like we are now live on Facebook. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Jones, and I serve as the coordinator of parent and family programs in the Center for Student Success at Southern Miss. And we are so grateful to have you with us for our November Seymour Scoop. Each month, we meet with a resource office on campus so that we can provide you with additional information regarding resources for your students. And today we have with us Ms. April Estill Lomax, who serves as the interim director for student counseling services. And she's just going to meet with us for a little bit today to provide us with information regarding student counseling services, things that your student can definitely take advantage of, and how you as a parent and or family member can support your student. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. So Ms. April Estelle, would you tell us what is student counseling services?
Sure, Ashley, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here today. So student counseling services, I guess the thing that I like to say most often about student counseling services is that it's a free resource for students. We offer no cost confidential wellness services to all enrolled Southern Miss students. So we're a department within the Student Affairs, and we are a contributing department to the Student Affairs mission of helping to develop healthy, connected, learning-focused students. So in our office, we have licensed mental health professionals who are here to kind of help guide students or help students navigate, this thing called life. It's a really big change, a big milestone coming to the university. And so we're here to kind of help support them in that.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that students have this resource to come to student counseling services to navigate life, how should they do that? Is a referral required for students to receive services?
Right, that's a good question, Ashley. So referral is not required at all. Sometimes we do have students referred to us either, from either a faculty member who may notice, have some communication with a student or have a relationship and, may potentially refer them to our office. Or we maybe receive referrals from our other campus partners, either on the academic or the student affairs side of the house. However, most of the time, the students we see, they're self-referred. So they have, maybe perhaps learned about our service, have read about it on their syllabi, had some communication with somebody, has a friend who's attended, and they've decided to make that really big step to reach out and ask for help.
Gotcha. Now, you and we met earlier in the year, just on the brink of things when we started remote working and the state of the world was the beginning of the pandemic. Well, while the country is still in the state of social distancing, can students make or schedule appointments to meet with a counselor in person, or are those still happening virtually?
Yeah. So that's a good question. We do have the option to see students in person. We have a few students that we will see in person. We do we would prefer to do the virtual sessions with students, but we do have that in-person option available. When you think about what our students, I was looking back on when we got together earlier, and it was in April, and so much has changed and so much has not changed since that time. And so, we understand the difficulty of not having, sort of that human connection. And so if it looks like a student will benefit more from an in-person, or if they're just having difficulties with the idea of, this virtual option, we do have that in-person option available.
Okay, wonderful.
Sure.
Speaking of families, are families allowed to obtain information on their students' counseling session?
Right. That's a good question, Ashley. So, like I stated before, the staff here, we're all licensed mental health professionals. So we each have our own individual licensing boards, and we do follow both FERPA and HIPAA laws. That being said, confidentiality is definitely a must. The actual record keeping system that we have in our department is separate from the academic system altogether, a completely different system. So we work with the students, and if a student gives us consent to release information to a parent, or sometimes a student may give us consent to sort of speak with a parent to kind of bring into sort of the getting things, into their sessions. We have to have a signed consent from the student. However, if we encounter a student who is having some significant safety concerns that are imminent, and we're having some difficulties with maybe negotiating with the student to address those safety concerns, that would be a time that we would consider breaching confidentiality if a student did not want us to speak to families. Our top priority is, the safety of the student. And so if there is an instance where a student is unable to negotiate with us for, some sort of safety planning or additional safety measures, then we will reach out to parents if necessary. We try not to do that. That's something that is, very, very scrutinized before we consider even taking that option. But we have done it before, and it does happen on very rare occasions.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Now, I know that you mentioned individual counseling with a counselor, particularly virtual or in person. Can you talk a little bit about group counseling abilities? And then along with individual and group counseling, what other resources do you offer?
Sure. Could you tell me the first part of that question? I didn't quite catch the first part.
Yes, just group counseling. What does group counseling look like? Or if you're able to still offer group counseling now that things are predominantly virtual, and then what other resources are available?
Yeah. So the exciting thing that has happened since we've kind of all been thrust into this virtual world was that, I think offices and departments, including us, have had to kind of look at how can we provide services to students in more of this virtual format. And so we do offer the individual and group counseling, and we do have group counseling virtual. We've got, right now we have 3 virtual groups, and the 3 groups that we have going now are sort of end of the semester support groups for students, like problem solving, kind of needing some extra support for the end of the semester, getting ready to return home, those kinds of things. That is done in a virtual format. And so, and in addition to that, as far as our other resources are concerned, we have what's called the Eagle Cares platform. And that is an online platform where students can access it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's more of a self-guided wellness resource. So students can go onto the Eagle Care, set up their profile, I believe that's what it's called, and have access to other students in different communities that is specific to their interests or their needs. For example, if a student is having some struggles with anxiety, there's actually an anxiety group there on that platform. Students can also set up like their growth, they're called growth paths. And so students can decide how they want to engage in resources or communities, learn skills, practice skills to help with anxiety management, depression management, and those sorts of things. The other, I think the best part about the Eagle Cares platform is that students have access to what are called peer trained listeners 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so these are individuals who have gone through a training process in order to be peer trained listeners. And these are going to be students from other places, sometimes all over the world in college communities, who have volunteered to be trained and learn to be a peer trained listener. And they offer support to students on whatever they, need support on. And those peer trained listeners are also, they're trained to notice if a student needs some extra support, and they can, refer students to contact us if need be, or if there's some sort of a crisis or an emergency situation. So that's our Eagle Cares platform. The other thing that we're offering virtually is our Let's Teletalk. And that's a service that it happens Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. So every day of the week, it's a drop-in consultation service. Confidential. Students can get access to the Zoom link. And you may see those Zoom links in various places on campus on, like a Let's Teletalk flyer. I know those are sent out in email blasts and things like that. And they have access to a counselor Monday through Friday, 3 to 4. Those are going to be sessions for, more quick needs, like if you're trying to problem solve, or maybe you want to have a neutral party to kind of listen for decision making. That's what Teletalk is used for. Let's Teletalk. So we definitely encourage students to use that. It is on a first come, first served basis. And so I do like to encourage students that if you log into Teletalk and you're placed in the virtual waiting room, the counselor on the other end will see that you have dropped in, and they will be with you within 15 minutes at the longest. So we've got that available. And another thing that we do here at the Counseling Center, so Southern Miss has a wealth of wellness resources on campus. A lot of times people, when they think about mental health or mental wellness, there's this idea that wellness comes from only from sitting down with a counselor one-on-one, or what we call psychotherapy. During this time of students' lives, there are so many changes. We were actually talking about that before, right? So many transitions happening during this time that the one-on-one psychotherapy, talk therapy with a counselor, may not be the best for any particular student. So we really work with every student that comes into our office to identify like what's going to be the best resource, the best wellness resource for this student at this time. So if you think about things like, we have students who come in who may be close to graduation, or they're having questions about their chosen major. And sometimes this can cause some students distress. We work with a lot of different partners on the Southern Miss community and in the Hattiesburg community to help get students plugged into the best resource for them in that moment. So we really try to tailor it to the student's needs. A student who's having some concerns about, their chosen major, or perhaps their potential career field, we will get that student referred to career services, or perhaps to the Center for Student Success, or the Advisement Center, to help out with those things. So I'm very committed to recognizing that every student who comes into our office, whether it's through email, phone call, however they get in contact with us, they come with a set of strengths, or they wouldn't be here. And so we're very committed to, number one, helping students identify what those strengths are, and then helping them to figure out either how they can enhance their existing strengths, or learn some new skills and build some more strengths. And that way, everything it's about wellness. It's not about, I like to say it's about wellness and not about sickness. And to me, that's some of the stigma that gets attached to wellness services, is there's this idea that if somebody's seeking wellness services, then there must be something wrong with them. And that's just not the case. Sometimes somebody just needs to be able to sit with a group of students to say, you know what, I've been experiencing that very same thing. And that validation can go a really long way. So we're very committed to kind of tailoring with the use of the wealth of resources in our, both local community and campus community, to helping students, get to the top, or that pathway to completion.
That's right. I'm so glad that you said that. And when you were speaking, I'm reminded of some of the conversations that I've had with some of the students that I've met with during one-on-one sessions. We have academic coaching program in our office, and those are some of the things that we discuss is perspective, and it's about how you look at things, and it's not looking at things from a negative of, oh, I have a problem, I'm going because of there's a sickness or there's an issue, but changing the perspective of how you're looking at those things. And it makes a world of a difference. So thank you for that. I want us to discuss something that I know is popular amongst students because it's on our cellular phones. It's the app. I know that Student Counseling Services has an app that you use. Can you tell parents and families a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, actually, the app related to Student Counseling Services is that Eagle Cares app. So students that we were talking about a couple of questions ago, students can download this app free in their, it's both Android and, I'm getting ready to show my age here, both Android and iPhones. And to find that app, it's actually, the program is actually called 7 Cups. And so once you find the 7 cups, it's 7 cups of tea. Once you find that 7 Cups app, you can download it on your phone. And when you sign up for it, it will ask you for an organizational code, or that will have a cost attached to it. So if use the organizational code USM, all lowercase, that takes you to our platform, our Eagle Cares platform, for our community. And again, you can go on and, identify those growth paths, take advantage of the different blogging communities, as well as the peer trained listeners.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're talking with parents and families about Student Counseling Services, the resources that are available, and also how they can be of assistance. So looking from that angle, what role do parents and families play assisting their student who is seeking treatment with counseling services?
Sure. That's a good question. So, I have this, normally when we are able to meet with parents face to face, I have this talk that I like to do with parents and share with them sort of what their role is. And they have a pivotal role in this process because up until they entrust their students to come and join our Southern Miss family, they've had them all this time. And, if you think about parenting, I have two students who are, adults. And one of my students did come to school here. And I trusted the community so much because I knew what was here, and I knew, about our community. So parents are the ones who have been nurturing their students. They've been establishing those values. They've been, doing a lot of the hard work and getting some very strong roots settled, strong roots. And as a parent, one of the hardest things to do is this milestone right here, sending your student off to college, even if they're just going from one side of Hattiesburg to the other side of Hattiesburg, it's still a big milestone. And so, we know that parents play a really big role in the development of their student because that's where the roots were established. That's where they were planted. And a big role for parents is to recognize what you've instilled in your child and trust those values, trust your roots, and then encourage your students to recognize their wings so that they can soar. And that can be difficult. It's about finding the balance of how much do you get involved, how much do you not get involved, those sorts of things. And one thing I tell parents most of the time is that you're never going to know that balance. If you're involved, they might think you're over involved. If you're under involved, they may want you to be more involved. So recognize that's normal, because they're your students are trying to figure it out for themselves, develop their own, set of values based on the values they've had instilled in them. And so what I encourage parents to do is be open. And if a student would like to share with you what's happening in their sessions, be that support, be the parent. And if they're not very comfortable in sharing with you, be okay with that too. And the way you do that is that as parents, make sure that you have supports for yourself. Now, the other thing that I know is that parents are going to be the ones who recognize changes in their student, changes in their behavior. If you've got a student who's calling home and it seems like the tearful calls are outweighing the happy calls, just pay attention. If you're seeing that your student is maybe having changes in their mood, if they are maybe sleeping a lot more than they used to, or on the flip side of that, sleeping a lot less. If you notice a change in their grades, if they're, having some struggles with academic functioning, any things that you notice that are concerning to you that's different, have that conversation with your student and say, I noticed that this thing has changed. Do you feel like, would you like to talk with me about that? Or would you like to go and, maybe either talk with a friend or a support person, or perhaps student counseling services? So encourage them to access our services. And again, be that support person and, encourage them to continue if they're in services, and be there to listen or not. Because a lot of times students just want their parents to be parents, and they know that safety net is there. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Very
good.
thoroughly. Thank you. And I know that, I've had some communication with parents this semester with wanting to just know, how do I support my student with things being so different from, years past. So what you said is, like you said, if they play a pivotal part in the development of their student as they matriculate through college, because they want to be supportive to their students, and honestly, their students want their support. And so just being there, listening and recognizing any changes and intervening when they can, where they can, and properly how they can. So thank you. You're right.
Yeah. And sometimes, I'm sorry for interrupting it. Sometimes, we encourage parents, if they have questions or if they're not sure what to do, we're here we're here for consultation for parents too. So if they need to give us a call to, if they've got a concern about their student, or if they're, having some difficulties themselves with, sort of the push-pull that's very normal with this particular age, we're here for parents too. So parents are welcome to give us a call if they have questions or concerns, and we can, we may not be able to tell them, yes, I know your student, and yes, your student is in counseling services. We may not be able to do that. However, we can definitely guide parents as far as the resources that we have available on campus for their student. And we can tell them theoretically, what would happen if we encountered a student with such concern.
Wonderful. Thank you. Because, like you mentioned, some of these situations that may arise with students, they've never seen this before. Parents have never encountered this with their students. So they could be at a genuine loss of how to assist their students. So knowing that they can come and say, hey, this is something that is happening with my student. I understand that you can't confirm or deny anything, but if you can just give me some direction generally of what I could do, that would be very helpful. So I'm glad to know that that's a service that you guys offer for families. And families, we do hope that you will take advantage of that if you are, noticing some changes in your student and you're just not familiar with how to navigate or cope with that you can reach out to student counseling services on campus, or reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we, get you the help that you need so that you can help your student.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Definitely.
It does take a village.
It does, doesn't it? It's not just a saying. It's not just a saying. It does take a village. It's like that office, this office, the family, that the extended family, all of us. This
Absolutely.
the help from all of us.
Yeah.
And we're family. We're Golden Eagle family. So we're going to do what we have to help our students. What, as we say, soar. We're going to help them soar. So definitely. I know that you guys meet with a lot of students. Can you tell us how many students you serve each semester?
Um, yeah, we serve in some form or fashion. Um, we serve between 700 and 1,000 students per semester. So typically it's about 10 to 12% of the overall student population that we will serve in some facet, whether it's in a referral or a workshop or
Mhm.
one-on-one services or group, or maybe an emergency like a crisis intervention.
Right.
In some form or fashion, about 700 to 1,000.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good bit. It's a good bit of students that you see. So thank you for working with our students on campus. I know that I am not a licensed counselor or therapist. So whenever I do meet with students that I feel could benefit for services, I encourage them to see you guys because I know the phenomenal resources that are available through your office. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
So if you could, we're just going to wrap up today's Seymour Scoop with letting us know where you're located on campus and how students and families can reach you.
Sure. So we're located in Bond Hall East, and our physical address is 103 Ray Guy Way. So what that looks like is we're on the back side of Bond Hall, the back side facing the Thad Cochran Center, and on the opposite side from the parking garage. So that's where we're located. And the way you can reach us is we have our main line, and that line is 601-266-4829. And then we also have an email, which is USM, no, I'm sorry, counseling.edu. You can reach out to us via email that way.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Families, as always, if you need us, please feel free to reach out to us as well. Parent and family programs, we are located in the Center for Student Success. That is the office that we are under. And you can reach us by phone at 601-266-6405. That's 601-266-6405. And you can also reach us by email at parents, and that's parents with an S, parents and family at usm.edu. Of course, there's tons of information on our website. You can also visit there, and it is usm.edu/success. And you can find information regarding our office in general, which has resources for all students. We have things for freshmen, transfer, sophomore students as well. And then we also can have information regarding our Parent and Family Association. So if you are not a member of our Parent and Family Association, we do trust and hope that you will join. It is a free membership, and as there's a link available on our website, we'll just grab a little bit of information from you. We'll put you in that association, and you'll begin to receive monthly newsletters from us that provide tons of information, things that you should know about your student that's happening on campus, resources that are available, as well as events that we'll host for parents and families. We're going to wrap up our Seymour Scoop for this month, and I will make one announcement. We are approaching the end of the semester. As you know, students are in their last final couple of weeks for the semester, and we do have an opportunity for care packages for our students. So our office, through Parent and Family Programming, we are offering an opportunity for students who live off campus. If you would like to purchase a care package, it is called a Hug from Home. We have hugs from homes that are available for purchasing now. They're $20, and it includes a water bottle that is filled with candy, along with highlighters, a ink pen. It also comes with a notepad. And then you can also provide a personal note from home for your student. Now, this opportunity is only available for students who are living off campus through our office. And for students who are on campus, care packages can be purchased through OCM, which is a program through Housing, Department of Housing on campus. All of that information is available on our website. And if you would like additional information on how to purchase, please feel free to comment in the description below. I'll be glad to provide you the information for that in the comments, as well as reaching out to us via phone or email. We thank you so much for joining us for our November Seymour Scoop. We hope that you have enjoyed and learned a good bit of information about student counseling services. We do hope that you'll be with us again. Our next Seymour Scoop will be in the spring semester, but we do hope that you will sign up for the Parent and Family Association if you have not already, so that you can receive our December newsletter, which will provide more information as we enter into the spring semester. Thank you so much, and we pray that hope that everyone has a wonderful day. And as we say at Southern Miss, to the top.
The top.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.